Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ. And HMSA, helping Hawaii's youth and their families stay healthy today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. HMSA, trusted for generations.
Next on HIKI NŌ, stories from across the island chain.
I love to teach. I love to share. And in the old style, eyes and ears.
A slack key guitar master teaches music through his legendary father's eyes and ears method. And we take a look at another innovative music program at a HIKI NŌ school.
Plus, students investigate the possible causes of tumors in Hawaiian sea turtles.
Also, students from Kapa'a Middle School show us how to stay limber and avoid injuries.
While students from a brand new HIKI NŌ school, King Intermediate, show us how to make an eyelash lei. You'll find out how a local magazine publisher helps young writers define their voice.
And you'll meet a young surfer who carries on the legacy of legendary watermen like Eddie Aikau. All on this episode of HIKI NŌ, coming to you from HP Baldwin High School on Maui, home of the Bears.
That's next on the nation's first statewide student news network, HIKI NŌ.
We are standing on the campus of HP Baldwin High School. It all started in 1937 when 50 acres of land was purchased for $5,000. A campus is quickly built and the school's construction was hailed as a feat of modern architecture. The school was named after Henry Perrine Baldwin, an influential Hawaii businessman and co-founder of Alexander and Baldwin. Today, students continue to achieve success. Last year, Baldwin students represented Hawaii at National History Day, won the state robotics competition, and placed nationally for their artistic works.
Our first story takes us to the Hilo area of Hawaii Island, where students from Connections Public Charter School tell the story of a slack key guitar master who carries on the teaching methods of his legendary father.
Cyril Pahinui is a world-renowned slack key guitarist and has devoted much of his time teaching slack key guitar and sharing his own experiences with music. He has various workshops around Hawaii, such as this one at Connections Public Charter School in Hilo.
I come from a family, talented person, which is my dad, Gabby Pahinui. And my father was a talented musician. I mean, as a guitar player, as a steel guitar player, as a vocal, as a singer. He was versatile. He was so great. I mean, nothing like having him as my father, you know. And I learned a lot from him.
Cyril began his music career at the age of 7. He was mentored by his father, Gabby Pahinui, who taught him by practice of watching and listening.
I didn't take no music in school, you know. I didn't went to college to learn how to play. Everything was back home, backyard jam. I learned by eyes and ears, you know. And all my recordings, I mean, I can tell what key they're playing in or what chords just by hearing the thing, you know. Every instrument mean a lot to me. It does have different sound, and I guess the saying is who's behind of the instrument make it. For me, you know, it's not the guitar. You know, it's me the one that put in the energy into the guitar. You know, a $10 guitar, I can make it sound like a 500.
Cyril comes from Oahu every Tuesday to teach Kio'alo slack key guitar, steel guitar, and ukulele. He has been teaching at Connections for the past 4 years.
I do teach wherever I perform in Hawaii. Oahu, Kauai, Molokai, Lanai, here on the Big Island. My workshops, I love to teach. I love to share. And in the old style, eyes and ears. I can go one-on-one, or I can teach half a dozen people, a dozen, 20, 30. Teaching is like, that's my culture. That's, you know, jolly talking in Hawaii, speaking a language, or hula. You know, we come from here. My dad, he's known as a great slack key guitar player. So to me, following my dad's footsteps, at the same time, continue his legacy, And at the same time, continue my legacy.
Cyril plans to teach workshops for the rest of his life. This is Eddie Aikau from Connection School for HIKI NŌ.
Now for a look at another innovative music program. We go back into the HIKI NŌ archives for the story from KULA NIIHAU o Kekaha Public Charter School, which originally aired in May of 2012.
I tamanawa mo I hui e ki kumualaka I kula ki e o ki kula NIIHAU o Kekaha o ho Kalani Kalini, me Steven Weber. Walela oia aole I loa ia I ki tahi pa I tutulu I ki tahi lumi o te leo. Oia no ta ohana pane mai lau Steven Weber, a pela I homata I ke mua lelo. Wa hele ho mei oia no ki kolua tamanawa ma loko ka lumi o te leo ane I tutulu ai. Ke ololo hiti ai te walau mei he aha ta ohana ma Berklee College of Music.
My position at Berklee College of Music is that I'm a professor there. I teach in the music technology and professional writing division. And I thought it would be really great to bring those faculty over here to KULA NIIHAU. I didn't plan on what a unique and special spirit you guys have here. So I wanted to share that with my fellow faculty. And it just seemed like it would be perfect to also add an educational component to that and bring the faculty over here to KULA NIIHAU.
O te mana'o nui o te ia pili ana me Berklee loa'a I nā haumana ta manawa tūpono e ho'olohe ai I nā ano mele like ole e like me ka string trio, opera, jazz, blues, gospel, rock, a pela aku.
I know that the string trio, they got so much out of the exchange. It was incredible. Second year we brought Darcel Wilson over, who was an R&B singer. Then the third time we had Gabrielle Goodman, who was a spiritual and gospel and R&B singer. All of the faculty that I bring over to KULA NIIHAU wind up just walking on air by the time they're leaving because of the spirit of the place and the uniqueness. They have such a great experience that it really feeds the soul of the Berklee faculty to come over and share with you guys here. And I think, you know, it makes them feel good too to be trying to share some educational things about music with, you know, with the students here at KULA NIIHAU.
Mamacha makahiti a Berklee e milalo te makahiti mateiche makahiti. Ratumula ko e milalo me ite amato na makahiti ako. Ako e minil ta ko leo himini ana maitai. Te pogina mat tamato ke himini ako. Kena no talo ko mehani.
You know, we've had 3 years so far of faculty exchange now between Berklee College of Music and KULA NIIHAU. And I'm hoping this is just the beginning and that we'll look back in another 20 years and just be amazed and marvel at the wonderful relationship that has been developing over the decades.
Mai KULA NIIHAU Kekaha, o vo o kuini neo ma HIKI NŌ PBS Hawaii.
We're back on the island of Maui at the Wailuku Cross, which overlooks the beautiful district of Wailuku. It is about a 45-minute hike up the steep Kapilau Ridge Trail into the hills of Iao Valley. This rickety wooden cross was built in 1956 by students and faculty of St. Anthony High School. It is a popular trail for locals and tourists alike. We'll stay on the Valley Isle for our next story as students from Seabury Hall Middle School try to find out why some Hawaiian sea turtles aren't doing so well.
The honu is a key aspect of Hawaiian culture. You see it in petroglyphs and stories of Makua, the individual guardians of Hawaiian people. In fact, green sea turtles go back over 100 million years before the dinosaurs. But a modern disease, fibropapilloma, or FP, is threatening these ancient survivors. It is a serious virus that can sometimes be deadly.
The fibropapillomatosis was first discovered in Kaneohe Bay in 1957, first published about it in 1958, but it was actually first discovered in Florida in 1938. You know, imagine if you're swimming around with a big thing on your head, something that obstructs your vision, because that's generally where it starts, in the posterior of the eye, and then it kind of grows elsewhere as well. If you see a turtle with tumors on the outside, a lot of times that they have tumors on the inside as well.
Although there's mystery surrounding the direct cause of FP, aquatic biologists believe the disease occurs in geographic areas that have been compromised by man-made pollutants, such as here on the north shore of Maui.
The virus, I believe, is also a condition of the environment. With our environment, we have a lot more fertilizers and a lot more runoff and things. The tumors appear to be induced but also by a lot of nutrients. And so for Maui, we've had nutrients coming from land sources like the injection wells as well as runoff.
While nutrients such as nitrogen may be good for plants on land, in the water they only feed invasive algae and cause algae blooms.
And then so when the turtles eat the introduced algae, they're also ingesting a lot more nitrogen, and that may be tumor inducing.
HIKI believes one solution to this growing problem is to protect another endangered part of our environment, the wetlands.
And that's where our wetlands become more important, because the wetlands would help hold back the runoff that would normally just flow into the ocean. And the wetlands and the recycling of nutrients and things with plants. And we as a community have to look where our nutrient source is coming from and not apply so much fertilizer. But we're still going to have to still address where our sewage goes.
So what can you do to help the honu? Learn how to minimize your home use of fertilizers. Learn how you can help preserve Hawaii's wetlands, and if you do see a turtle that seems to be stricken with fibropapilloma, stay away.
You know, I just kind of want everybody to kind of put yourself in the turtle situation. Think about, you know, if you're sick, what do you want to happen? You know, you want to be able to rest. You want to be able to not be bothered by anything. So really just an overall respect for the turtles. If you see them swimming in the water, don't chase after them. If you see them basking on the beach, don't get too close. They're trying to sleep. And if they're trying to sleep, you need to really respect that. It is up to us to really help these turtles out, you know? If we are causing it, then it's up to us to really help them.
This is Alex Abraham reporting from Seabury Hall for HIKI NŌ.
If you would like to discuss this story or anything you see on HIKI NŌ, leave a comment at facebook.com/HIKI NŌ can do, or send us a tweet at twitter.com/HIKI NŌ can do.
We're back on Maui in NIIHAU Valley. This entire valley witnessed the Great Battle of Kapanawai, which took place in the late 18th century between Kamehameha the Great and Chief Kahekili's son, Kalani Kupule. Kamehameha's troops stormed up the valley and won this important battle in his conquest to unite the islands. Kapanawai translates to the damming of the waters, as the bodies of the dead warriors blocked the flow of the river and turned the water a crimson red. We take you now to the island of Kauai, where students from Kapa'a Middle School show you how to increase your chances of not getting hurt.
Here are 5 quick tips for preventing injuries. First, if you already have an injury, make sure to take time to rest and let it heal before you continue to exercise. Rest, ice, compression, and elevation. Doing this, you will prevent more serious injuries. Stretch out your body thoroughly before and after you exercise. This could include touching your toes while sitting down, stretching your arm behind your head, or putting your hands against the wall and stretching your calves. You should also make sure to not overexert yourself when exercising. Do not push yourself over your limits. One of the most useful tips is to listen to your body. If you are tired or hurting in a specific spot, take a break. Many people won't do this and will end up getting hurt. Lastly, you can manually massage your muscles out if they are sore. It sounds weird, but you could use a rolling pin to roll out your sore muscles. And those are 5 quick tips for preventing injuries.
We're back on the island of Maui in the town of Waialua at the Bailey House, the former home of missionary teacher Edward Bailey until 1888. It's at the former site of the Waialua Female Seminary for Hawaiian girls and was constructed in 1833 on the rural compound of the last ruling chief of Maui, Chief Kahekili. The Bailey House opened as a museum in 1957 and is the proud home of the largest exhibit of Hawaiian artifacts in Maui County.
Behind me is the Nohoana Farm, which is well known for its traditional kalo or taro patches. They are one of the few family-run kalo farms on the island, preserving the ancient Hawaiian tradition. Families and students from all over the island come here to learn what kalo is, how it was grown, and its importance to the ancient Hawaiians.
We take you now to the windward side of Oahu for King Intermediate School's HIKI NŌ debut. Welcome to the Ohana.
If there's one thing in Hawaii that can make you smile, it's wearing a lei for that special occasion. Giving a lei to someone is great, but when you make it yourself, it makes it extra special. Today we'll show you how to make your very own eyelash lei. Here is a list of supplies needed. You can purchase them online or at a craft store. Cost to make this lei will run about $15. There are 6 steps to get started. 1. Cut the ribbon to the length of the lei desired plus 6 inches. 2. Tie a knot on one end, 3 inches from the end. 3. Pull the ribbon through a straw, fold back the ribbon and tape to the straw. 4. Tie the eyelash yarn to the straw. 5. Wind the yarn towards the taped end. When yarn reaches the taped end, stop. 6. Push the wound yarn slowly off the straw onto the ribbon. Repeat steps 5 and 6 until your wound yarn on the ribbon reaches the end of your straw. Pull off the tape and knot the end. Tie the ends together with a bow. Putting a personal touch into your gift will guarantee a big smile.
We're back on the island of Maui at another historical site. Designed by Edward Bailey and erected in 1876, the Ka'ahumanu Church was built in honor of King Kamehameha the Great's favorite wife, Queen Ka'ahumanu. This church was the epicenter of the spread of Christianity throughout Maui. On Sundays during service, beautiful Hawaiian music can be heard resonating from the church doors. Our next story comes from East Oahu, where students at Kalani High School introduce us to a local magazine publisher who is dedicated to giving young writers their start.
Miss Davy Devine, a mother, teacher, publisher, and inspiration, has devoted herself to creating good literature and helping others find their creative voice. Her desire and creativity have led to the success of the publication of her magazine, Cherry Pop Review, a magazine focused on entertainers with a passion to succeed.
There are a lot of people out there who are looking for an opportunity to get published. And a young, new magazine that says, hey, you know, come and write. I mean, here's a great opportunity. I don't do all the writing. You know, I let other people who have their own life experiences, who have their own passions for writing, who have their own dreams, go out and do the interviewing. So each of those people ultimately are going to come back with a unique perspective.
Well, dance is a
I'd love to create like a competitive internship for writers, so that and send 5 people to interview the same person and see if they all come back with 5 different stories, 5 different perspectives.
It was such a great opportunity. I got to explore the city and meet new people. I also got to visit Connecticut and see some friends there. Overall, it was an eye-opening experience as I got to see so much that I had never seen before.
During your time in New York, have you faced any difficulties or challenges, and how did you overcome them?
I tell a lot of my writers, because sometimes they'll get stumped and they feel like, oh, but I have to structure this and I have to, create this kind of path for the story. And I always tell them that is let their words create that path, because that passion that they have and the passion that you have for writing about what they did, that in itself creates the voice and style.
The motivation and opportunity each of the writers get to express themselves contributes to the growth and success of Miss Devine's dream for Cherry Pop Review. This is Michaela Carroll from Kalani High School for HIKI NŌ.
If you would like to discuss this story or anything you see on HIKI NŌ, leave a comment at facebook.com/HIKI NŌ can do, or send us a tweet at twitter.com/HIKI NŌ can do.
We're back on Maui at the lush heritage gardens of Iao Valley. It was established in 1952 and is a showcase for Maui's diverse cultural heritage with ethnic houses and gardens representing the Hawaiian, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Filipino, Portuguese, and American cultures. The NIIHAU stream flows through this picturesque spot, making it a perfect place for a relaxing picnic or cool swim. Our final story takes us to the North Shore of Oahu, where students from Waialua High and Intermediate School introduce us to a young surfer who grew up with a long-standing event honoring legendary waterman Eddie Aikau.
Each year, the world's top big wave surfers gather at Waimea Bay to remember Eddie Aikau, a Hawaiian surfer and lifeguard who gave his life to save the crew of the ill-fated 1978 Hokulea voyage. The Quicksilver in Memory of Eddie Aikau surf competition honors this legendary waterman. For North Shore local Makua Rothman, this event holds special meaning.
The first event was made the year I was born, so I've pretty much been to every one. I don't remember the first few, but I always remembered, the music, the food, the circle, all the surfers coming together, and just a great feeling of being a big wave rider when you're at that event. My favorite memory, personal memory from the Eddie Aikau was getting caught inside with Andy Irons, and there happened to be a really, really big set that was going to close out the whole Waimea Bay, one of the biggest sets of the day. And Kai Garcia came in and picked Andy up and left me. And they got out the back, and I got cleaned up by a closeout set. But when I got out the back, I was laughing so hard. Now that Andy's not around, and we miss him very much, that had to be my favorite memory of the Eddie Aikau. I remember going down to all the contests, the Eddie Aikau contest. My dad was actually one of the founders of the Eddie Aikau event.
The first contest was at Sunset. It was the Hui's idea to do it. We brought it to Bob McKnight at Quicksilver, and they took it from there to Waimea, and it evolved.
As someone that might have a voice with some of the kids and nowadays with the music and stuff, I really want to stress that, remember your culture, remember your language, remember how it is to embody or embrace the Hawaiian spirit.
The contest is a celebration of his life. A lot of people put a lot of effort into it, like George Downing. He's a key person there that has kept the thing going with a lot of integrity that it could have lost.
Some of us definitely carry on some stuff like Eddie, some of his. We'll never be as great as him, I don't think. He's one of the greatest Hawaiians that ever lived, but we'll try our best to carry on, some of the values and things that he wanted to push forward in his life.
This is KULA Quintal from Waialua High and Intermediate School for HIKI NŌ.
We're back on the island of Maui at Baldwin High School's campus. This year, Baldwin celebrated its 75th anniversary. There were several celebratory events, including a campus tour, a special homecoming rally, an alumni banquet, and a Ho'olaulea festival. Throughout its 75 years, Baldwin has striven to promote personal excellence and looks forward to many more years to come.
Well, that's all for this week's episode of HIKI NŌ.
We hope you've enjoyed the stories from around our island.
Remember, all of these stories were written, shot, and edited by students like us.
Tune in next week to PBS Hawaii for more examples of what Hawaii students HIKI NŌ
can do.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo, and by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ. And HMSA, helping Hawaii's youth and their families stay healthy today, tomorrow, and for generations to come. HMSA, trusted for generations.